That's right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy, Dead on Dave, feeling better, feeling stronger. The voice is back to where I'd like it to be, so we are back to the same schedule that we've always been on, the one that you know and love. So it is Monday. It's your daily focus, which is, of course, a weekly roundup and Monday Night Raw preview. And we got a couple other little things to throw in there as well. First, I want to give you a little bit of a shout out there, Black Mamba. You asked for a little bit of revamping of the memes, so I added a whole bunch more. Hope you get some enjoyment out of that, my friend. And something else I wanted to address real quick. For those of you who don't know everything that happened on Monetize This the other night, I just want to quickly address it because everybody needs to calm down. Monetize This is not going away. It was a crazy night. Some crazy things happened, and Joe reacted in a way to Tommy. Tommy decided to walk away that night because it made sense, but Monetize This is sticking together. The boys are still together. We're fine. We will be doing a show. Tommy C is only doing every other weekend from now on because he has a situation with his daughter. He has her every other weekend, so he can't do it on he can only do it every other weekend. So. But that has nothing to do with any situation. I just wanted to make that really clear, and he wanted to make sure everyone knew that as well. So I hope everybody is satisfied with that answer, and just know that nobody's mad at anybody. It's a show. Things happen. Things are said. It's not that big a deal. All that being said, sometimes things that are said on a show do make a big deal, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about this or not, but I decided I'm going to. About 3 months ago, November 21st exactly, there was a story that came out about a musician, Ben Weasel, of the Screaming Weasels. I don't know who they are either. Still don't, by the way. He challenged CM Punk to a fight because Ben Weasel beat the hell out of two chicks in a bar that he was playing at as part of like a reunion thing or something. He beat the hell out of two women. CM Punk called him out on it years later because Punk was retired now and he has nothing to do, so he calls out assholes who beat up women. So that's what he does. And what could have been a work, friggin' this guy responds to CM Punk and challenges him to a fight. Not to fight him, of course, to fight other women. It was just a completely, even if it was a work, what came out, it was still stupid. It's stupid, and it really doesn't make any sense. So, but anyway, so that happened 3 months ago. Well, last night, somebody who watches the show, I guess, hasn't seen that episode, saw the episode, and tweeted it to Ben Weasel. And now I got Ben Weasel tweeting back and forth with this guy. And, of course, because he has no substance and he has no defense for anything, what does he do? He calls me fat. Oh. So, that all being said, since he wants to just call me fat and not know my situation, of course, I did do research on him. I do know a little bit about what's going on with his situation. But he didn't take the time to find out anything about me, knowing that I got hurt in Iraq, that I'm and they kind of made fun of my military history a little bit, which kind of pissed me off, to be honest, because I'm very proud of my military service, and I don't appreciate some woman-beating asshole and their friends making fun of it or me. So I just wanted to address that, and I wanted to give extend an offer. If you guys are listening and you want to be on the show and talk like, men, talk like grown-ups, come on the show. But this is not going to be a situation where you come on and you just run me down and everything. No. If you want to talk, I'll have you on Creator's Corner, and we can talk about that whole situation. You can tell me all about it, and you can correct me on anything that I was misinformed about, because I'm not a mark. I'm certainly not just a CM Punk fan that was just touting his banner, because if you watch the video, I get on Punk during the video too. It just happened to be that on this subject, I completely agreed with him. So I backed him, and I put you on blast. Big whoop. You want to come after me and call me fat because you had nothing else to come with? That's fine, because it's facts. I'm fine with facts. I am indeed fat. There's no question about that. But you are indeed a woman beater. And while I can always lose weight, you can never take back punching women in the face. So good on you, buddy. What do you think, babe? You think you should come on here? I think he should fight you. You want to fight this? He's like 5'4" or something. For those of you who don't know my wife, she's almost 6'1". She's a big old tall German lady, and she'll mess some stuff up.
Hand is bigger than his face.
She said her hand is bigger than his face. My hand is bigger than my own face, though. Not really, no? That's not close? No. Okay. I wasn't sure. Anyway, you can't see my wife, Ben Weasel. I don't know. The whole thing was stupid, but you know what? If you're going to put me on the Twitter there and really just kind of help me out, to be honest, I mean, any publicity, at least, say something more creative than you're fat. Yes, I am. I'm from Chicago, too, by the way. I just like you. I'm from the same area, just like Punk, just like you. Is what it is, So I'm not a little bitch. I don't hide behind things. I had something to say. I said it. I stand behind it. And if you have anything else you'd like to say, contact me on Skype. davidvancura. Contact me on Twitter. Hit me up. Come talk. We'll be men. Sit down and we'll talk. We'll talk. Okay? All right. So now that all of that business is out of the way, make sure that you guys are liking and subscribing to this channel because we're getting very close to 500. And my daughter's not here to repeat that number, but there's my wife's doing it for me. We're getting close to that 500 sub mark. And when we do, remember, we will be doing our giveaway box. All the little items that we've been having from all of the subscription boxes that we open, which are 3 a month. We've been putting items into the box, and we'll be giving it away to one random subscriber at 500 subs. So make sure you guys are subbing and get us closer to that, and you might win a nice little subscription box for doing so. So that'll be exciting. If you want to support the channel, as always, there's all kinds of ways to do it. You can make memes. I will use your meme. You go to Meme Gene Okerlund, or Okerfund or something. Just type in Meme Gene into the old Google machine, and it's really easy. It's super easy to make memes. There's a whole bunch of pictures to use. It's a lot of fun. And you tweet it to me. You send it to me on Skype or on Facebook, facebook.com/this guy's take on it. You go ahead and do all of that, and I'll use it on the show. You can also add me on Skype, and I will probably give you a call sometime and do a 5 random questions. Or if you have a talent that you want to display, remember, Creators Corner is always open. And now that I'm feeling better, I will be resuming the Creators Corners interviews. So new episodes should be coming very, very soon. If not this week, certainly next week. So yeah, make sure you check all that stuff out. And if you want your Dead on Dave merchandise, if you want your copious cup or your copious shirt or any of the other awesome shirts that I have that the great Isaac Rojas designed for me, make sure you check out deadondave.spreadshirt.com. It's right there on the little ticker thing below. As you can see, it's going by right now. So make sure you're checking all that stuff out. We appreciate the support, and we love you guys as always. So let's get into it, shall we? This is mainly wrestling. There's not a lot of other stuff to talk about as far as news. I did talk some sports the other day. I want to talk about The Walking Dead real quick because I'm a big fan of that. For those of you who watch the show, you kind of know that. I do love The Walking Dead. Another episode last night. It's a slower tone right now. The second half of the season has been very slow. Coming off all the craziness that we've had in the first half of the season, they're transitioning to the Alexandria safe zone now, the survivors, Rick Grimes' crew. And the story is changing quite a bit. The narrative is changing. And it's very interesting. I wanted to get your guys' feedback on what do you think of the new tone of The Walking Dead. I feel that it's something different than we've seen before. And if you read the comic books, as I have, you kind of know where things are going. And this is truly just a calm before a new shitstorm. And it's going to be, which is not a spoiler because I think everybody knows that eventually things will always go awry within the world of The Walking Dead, because what's the point of having a TV show if it doesn't? So what do you think of the new storyline, the new way that things are being portrayed, and this new attitude of the group that we're seeing. I don't want to give too much away about the episode because it just came out last night. So let me know what you guys think about that. Put it in the comment section below, and I'll probably refer to it throughout the week, and or at least talk about it on the Sunday show, viewer questions. So that's pretty cool. I was really happy with last night's episode. While there's not a whole lot of excitement going on, it's certainly an entertaining new aspect to the show, this whole Alexandria safe zone, and it's been a lot of fun. So tell me what you guys think about that. All right, let's get into it, shall we? The main purpose of today is the Monday Night Raw preview. But before I get to that, real quick, a quick little story. Sorry that I'm jumping around, but I did forget this. A new little thing that came out this morning. The WWE is now restricting account sharing for the WWE Network viewers. There's a new updated terms and conditions. Now, according to people who have tried, they're not being deleted for using their one account on multiple devices at the same time, but those are their own multiple devices. Whether or not that is going to work if you continue to share your network service with someone in another state or another county or a different IP address, I don't know. So tread cautiously with that, because they are saying that if people continue to share their network service accounts, then you are subject to deactivation. So keep that in mind if you are currently sharing your network account with somebody else. And if you've been shut off, please let us know right here and we'll report about it. So that's pretty interesting, I thought. And I thought I'd give a little public service announcement to all of you who are sharing WWE Network accounts, which I don't really know the point of at this point. Because if you're a wrestling fan at all and you watch pay-per-views and everything and you support the product, I think $10 a month. I know everybody can't afford $10 a month. I know there are a lot of people out there who that is just insane. But I think most people who are into wrestling and have internet connections and are able to do all of those things, $10 a month is more than reasonable for what you get. I think most people would agree with that, and that is not directed at anybody who's like, well, I can't do $10. If you can't do it, I understand it, because believe me, I've been in that situation not that long ago where I wouldn't have been able to do it either. Unfortunately, I can't get the network because I'm here in Germany. And they have crazy network restrictions, and it's been a lot of red tape. Eventually, it will come here, and I'll get it when it does. So it is what it is there. Let's get to the Monday Night Raw preview, shall we? Let's talk about the main talking points about what should be happening on Raw. The build to WrestleMania is on. We are getting awfully close to Mania. We're 4 Raws away, something like that. It is getting awfully close, and the Raws leading up should start to get really good. I'm expecting big things out of tonight, especially since last week's Monday Night Raw was very awkward and weird, and it's lacking that excitement that you would think that we'd be getting with the build to WrestleMania so close. So tonight, I'm expecting fireworks. So what are the things to be looking for? Let's talk about Jon Stewart first. This is something that's just kind of out of nowhere, but Jon Stewart is supposedly going to be on Raw tonight. If he is he going to have a physical confrontation with with Seth Rollins, or is this going to be a way to further the tensions between Randy Orton and the Authority? There's a bunch of ways that this can go, because right now Randy Orton is back with the Authority and kind of making nice with Seth Rollins. So does Jon Stewart play into that? And even if he doesn't, Randy Orton and Seth Rollins is becoming pretty interesting, considering last week they did tease a punt and then he didn't punt him. Is a split with the Authority going to happen? And if it does, who's going to be the one splitting? Is it a certainty that Randy Orton will be leaving the Authority, or is this another way that they could be transitioning Seth Rollins into that face role that most people kind of expect him to be? Because let's face it, Randy Orton, as great as he is, and I am a Randy Orton guy, I do enjoy him. I don't enjoy him as a face as much. And he'll get pops as a face, and he kind of works best as a heel, obviously, a major heel, but he's also kind of walks the line of a tweener because he's so respected to so many people in the wrestling fan community. So I think that it would best well served if Randy Orton kind of goes ultra heel again, and Seth Rollins transitions slowly into the face role, which I think most people would like to see him at. What do you guys think about that? How are they going to use Jon Stewart? How would you like to see them use Jon Stewart, or would you just rather them not use Jon Stewart at all? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Another story is the ongoing saga between John Cena and Rusev. John Cena's got to prove to Rusev somehow to give him another match. He's got to try to convince him. How is he going to do that? Is he going to... I think this is going to eventually lead to some kind of retirement match angle with Rusev, or maybe not retirement, because retirement's a strong word, but definitely like a quit match, an I quit match, like, well, he'll be fired or something like that. I see something like that happening, but they're also building the United States angle quite big now. They're starting, and I didn't think they were going to. I was wrong about that. Somebody in the comment section was saying that they thought, and I wish I had their name in front of me so I can give them proper credit for it, because they called it, and that's a good job, that they would be building back to the America versus Russia thing, and it does seem to be that is going to be the case. So how is John Cena going to convince Rusev to give him a match at WrestleMania? That'll be interesting to see. Is it a situation where they can use this, since the United States title is kind of irrelevant in this feud in some ways, even though they're starting to reference it a little bit more, and Cena's talking about taking the belt away from him? Is it possible that Rusev, in a way to for John Cena to get his way, is it possible that Rusev has a title match between now and WrestleMania, and John Cena costs him the title, and that would give Rusev the reason to fight Cena one more time? Is that a possibility, or is that just too much? I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And what do you think is going to happen at WrestleMania with those two? That's something that's interesting to me, because I thought that this was going to be a way to put Rusev over, but with Rusev winning at Fastlane in the way that he did, it kind of seems like they're going to feed Rusev to John Cena, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me at this point, and it kind of runs contrary to what I was thinking and hoping was going to happen, and that would be Cena taking time off. So what do you guys think about that? Where is this going? Where do you want to see it go? Another big story, of course, is the Bray Wyatt and his continuing antagonizing of The Undertaker. Is he going to step it up another notch tonight? How can he get The Undertaker's attention? Is there ways that he could try to play with the dead man? There's a very good possibility that The Undertaker is not going to appear until WrestleMania. So could Bray Wyatt use something like past rivals, past people? Could Mick Foley get involved in this storyline and somehow? I mean, I wouldn't assume it'd be Kane because of Kane's role, but that's always a possibility because Kane is really not doing anything at the current time. So what's the best way to get to The Undertaker? And if he's already accomplished that, when will The Undertaker respond? Because we know that while The Undertaker may not be showing up on television until WrestleMania, he will respond in some, more than likely, supernatural way. So how would you like to see that response happen? Because there's a few ideas that would be kind of cool, but personally, I would just kind of want to see The Undertaker appear. But I'm also kind of down with him not showing up until WrestleMania, kind of like he did with Kane, back in 2006, when he just showed up and reemerged as old school Undertaker in the trench coat and the hair and everything. We know that the hair won't be growing back, but here's something else that we know, which is very encouraging. The Undertaker's getting in shape, and he is training hard. He looks good. His body looks good from the pictures that are being shown of his training. He looks to be in good shape, and this bodes well for this match, because as old as we like to think The Undertaker is, reality is he's only 49. And in wrestling years, that's not as bad as we'd like to think it is. There are guys, and I like to think that The Undertaker is one of them, that are capable, even at 49, 50 years old, to could potentially still pull off a good match on a big stage. And with a guy like Bray Wyatt, who's unorthodox and very strange, I think it's a very good possibility of it happening. Maybe this is exactly what The Undertaker needed. I'm kind of changing my tune on this match a little bit. So What do you guys think of that? That's an interesting thing. Bad News Barrett. Will his issues with his Intercontinental title continue on Raw? And if so, how? Will more people be added to this mix? Because by my count right now, there's 3 guys who are 100% into this storyline, besides Wade Barrett, of course, and that's Dean Ambrose, R-Truth, and Daniel Bryan. Because they've all beaten Wade Barrett in recent weeks, and of course they've all physically held the Intercontinental title in their hands at one point or another, hell, on SmackDown alone. So it's very interesting that this hot potato thing is going on with them, and we know that it's going to lead to a ladder match at WrestleMania, but how many people are going to be in it? Joe Cronin told me that recently Ziggler also beat Wade Barrett, which I completely forgot about. So is Ziggler into this storyline? Will he be introduced into it tonight? So is that 5 for the ladder match? And if so, there's another guy who's returning as a heel, and that's Sheamus. Is he going to be introduced? Could he be showing up tonight to make his return and getting involved in this storyline as well? Does he return as a face and then slow burn him into a heel? Or does he come back and kind of swerve everybody and take out Daniel Bryan and possibly even taking him out of this storyline to introduce their match for WrestleMania? And that way, instead of the ladder match, Daniel Bryan will be competing just against Sheamus. I'm becoming less confident of that because I put together the WrestleMania card, and we'll get to that after the preview, and you can see why I'm starting to think that they're probably both going to be involved in this ladder match. So what do you think about this? Who do you want to see win the Intercontinental title? Who do you want to see Bad News Barrett continue to reign, or is it time for somebody else? Do they swerve and go with R-Truth, who's been gold on the mic the last few weeks? When they let this guy talk, he really does have some good things to say. He's very funny. He was calling Byron Saxton coach, which was absolutely hysterical. So there's all kinds of good stuff going on there. Or is it going to go the Dean Ambrose route? Or what I'd like to see is Daniel Bryan with a sustained run with the Intercontinental title. I don't think he's ever held that belt. And it would be kind of cool to see it around his waist. He'd make a great Intercontinental champion. We need a working man champion. He's perfect for that. So I'd like to see that. A big introduction, a new introduction to the Hall of Fame is going to be tonight. And then the WWE is teasing that it's going to be a diva. When you look at it, there's only one women's wrestler that's really left to be put into the Hall of Fame. And it seems like it's Alundra Blaze. I mean, there are a few people that could probably go in that are more modern-day people, but Alundra Blaze really belongs, and this might be her time. She's had problems with the WWE, of course, historically. However, she's really tried to make amends over the past few years, and from what I've understood, a lot of fences have been mended, and now this is just a foregone conclusion. This was going to happen for the last couple of years, and now it is happening. What do you think of Alundra Blaze or Medusa going into the Hall of Fame? Do you remember who Alundra Blaze is? Because if you don't, go take a crash course, because this woman was amazing in her prime. She's a great wrestler, and I see a lot of her in Charlotte. The look is there. They look a lot alike. Charlotte's got a lot of the same athleticism. Their body type is quite similar. The way they work is similar. I think if you ask Charlotte, her 2 biggest influences would probably be obviously her father, and of course, I think the other one would be Alundra Blaze. I see a lot of similarity between the two. So, what do you think of Alundra Blaze going into the Hall of Fame? I'm kind of amped on that. The Hall of Fame is shaping into a good class, I guess. If you want to, I don't know. I guess I'm softening on this whole Bushwhacker and Rikishi thing. From an entertainment factor, I guess I don't know. I can't even say that because it feels like such a betrayal, to my sensibilities that they belong in the Hall of Fame. But it is what it is. It'll be an interesting Hall of Fame, to say the least. And with Kevin Nash and maybe Larry Zbyszko rounding it out, that could be a pretty cool class that I'd like to see go in. So, of course, Stardust and Goldust, the ongoing feud between these guys. Stardust dressed as a rosebud on Yes, Yeah, he dressed as a rosebud and beat up Goldust after a match on Thursday. Whoa, whoa, Adam Rose. Adam Rose is picking a fight on Twitter with with woo 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 Long Island Ice Z Zack Ryder. That's kind of interesting. I don't know why, but you got to do something, I guess. So what is Stardust's next move against Goldust? Is Dusty going to continue to be involved in this storyline? And if so, how does that continue? This match building to WrestleMania has a lot of intrigue and potential, and I'm excited about it. So what do you guys think about that? How does Goldust respond to Stardust, or does Stardust continue just to antagonize Goldust? Of course, the Curtis Axel march to Andre the Giant Battle Royal, the Axelmania, his little clock now of how long he's been in the Royal Rumble, which is absolutely hysterical, by the way. How is this going to continue, and what's it going to culminate in? Do you think this is just another situation where it's a comic relief thing, like it was with Heath Slater a few years ago, or is there something bigger being built, like maybe Curtis Axel winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? Is that a possibility? I think it is, simply because of who is going to be in the ladder match and the tag team title match. It takes a lot of the people who you would think would win this match out of the equation. And in light of all of that, who better than Curtis Axel at this point? Maybe this is the chance to give him one final push towards stardom, and this could be a way to do it. What do you guys think of that? And finally, Roman Reigns continues his preparation towards his WrestleMania 31 main event match against Brock Lesnar. And is Lesnar going to show up? I don't think he's scheduled for it. I don't know if that matters because he was scheduled last week. And, of course, him and Vince had a little bit of tiff, and it didn't work. And he walked out. What does that mean for the match? Apparently, some people were asking Vince if they should start coming up with alternative ideas for the main event. And he said no, because he knows Brock is going to perform. He knows he's going to show up, because if not, we'll sue the pants off him for breach of contract, which is a nice thing to say, I guess, but it really doesn't give me confidence for the quality of the match. So what do you think that Vince should do? Should they call an audible now and maybe even just have Brock be stripped of the belt and have Rollins cash in or something to that extent? I mean, is there really a point of continuing to let Brock Lesnar have this type of power over them by walking out of events? Say what you want about any contract negotiations that they might be having and how heated they may or may not be getting. You don't walk out of events. And usually Vince is not as forgiving, but he's kind of over a barrel here. And because he's I think this might be one of his last hurrahs for full control of WrestleManias. I'm talking full 100% control. I think this might be one of his last events for that. So that's why I think he's holding so tightly to this main event that he's really had in his mind for the past year. This main event is something he's been going forward with for a friggin' year. Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. I mean, they've done everything to build to this torch passing, if you want to call it, to this big rub to Roman Reigns. So it's quite interesting to see if he would abandon that if it becomes apparent that the main event is jeopardized. And let's say it doesn't. How do they continue to build Roman Reigns for this match? Because his build is not done yet. They still need more convincing. So how are they going to do that? What's the best way to accomplish that? There's a few ways to do it. I think just utter domination by Roman Reigns is the best way. Start having him go a little bit more monstrous. I think that's a way to do it. Or have him in there with guys who simply can go. But the problem is, maybe that's not what we need right now. Maybe we don't need long, drawn-out matches with Daniel Bryan. We don't need matches with Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins and guys who can wrestle to the moon, because that's not the match he's going to have with Brock Lesnar. It's going to be more of a power match. So maybe matches against guys like Big E, but that's the problem, is that there's no big powerhouse monsters like Ryback that are heels right now. So it just kind of puts them in an awkward position. Could they go to a return of maybe Mark Henry, who they like to use for fodder in these type of situations. Is it possible that Roman Reigns could tear through him in the next couple of weeks to kind of make a point about his strength? There's a whole bunch of things they can do, but what will they do is the question. So what do you guys think about this build by Reigns, and what can they do to kind of juice it up and amp it up a little bit? So that's the preview for tonight. Now, with all that talking into, this got me thinking about what the potential WrestleMania... What, babe? What? What was that look? What was that look?
So cute.
I'm so cute. I'm not a puppy. Not a puppy. Butchie pool. It got me thinking about the potential WrestleMania 31 card and what's it going to look like. And I was putting down all the matches that look like is going to happen, and it's a pretty big friggin' card. So let's go through it. We're going to have the Divas title defended. I think that's all but a foregone conclusion now with all of the emphasis there is now in social media and mainstream media about women and, you know, equality and all that stuff. And it should be defended anyway. So I think that's going to happen. More than likely Paige and Nikki, and maybe with a returning AJ. Maybe AJ returns at WrestleMania or the night after and kind of do what Paige did last year. Who knows? I think that's a good possibility, even though they kind of already did that once when AJ returned. But I think that's a very good possibility of happening. When AJ returns, if she returns, because of the things that she's been saying in social media, it's not guaranteed that she's even going to have a future with the WWE. Do they go full-blown heel with her again? Because Paige is kind of going to be that face for the future, I believe. So how do they do that? What's the smartest way to go to build that match? Then you got the tag team titles. The tag team titles are certainly going to be defended at WrestleMania, I think. With Kid and Cesaro, they built them for a reason. They're the new tag champs, and what better way to display their dominance than having them win probably a multi-tag team match, or even losing the titles. Are they going to add the Ascension in with the Usos, or is it just going to be another Usos versus Cesaro, which I'm kind of hoping is not. I want to see a little bit more at this point. So we got those two matches already. Then, of course, we have the Intercontinental title ladder match, which I think is going to be opening the show, which could have probably 6 people in it. Wade Barrett, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, and our returning Sheamus. That could be a match of the night candidate. So now we have 3 matches. Then Goldust versus Stardust. That's match number 4. Another really good match possibility there. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal. That's 5. That's 5 matches already. Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. That's 6 matches. I think Randy Orton and Seth Rollins is going to happen. I don't see why it wouldn't happen. They're definitely building towards that. Reigns and Lesnar, the main event, of course. That's 7. Rusev Cena. That's a definite. That's 8. Undertaker, Bray Wyatt. That's 9. And Sting and Triple H. That's 10 matches on this card. 10 matches. You know, going back to the Cena-Rusev match, how is that going to play out? What's going to be great about that? How do you want to see Rusev beat Cena? Like, do you want to see him beat him again with a Steiner recliner? Because that's what it is. It's a camel clutch, but it's a Steiner recliner. The Accolade, of course. What do they do with all of these matches? Taker Wyatt, Sting Triple H, Reigns Lesnar, Orton Rollins. Those seem to be the top 5 matches on the card. But the Andre the Giant Battle Royal seems to be a little bit more important than it was last year. Tag titles, Divas title, Intercontinental title, Goldust, Stardust, and who knows what else. It's a 4-hour card, but that's 10 solid matches. I think it looks like a pretty good card. It may not be what everybody wants in the world, but really, aside from the main event, this card was going to be this way anyway, and would a change in Daniel Bryan either added to the match or just having Daniel Bryan in the match without Roman Reigns, how much does that really change the dynamic of this card? I don't think it really does that much, because the top matches seem to be in place for a very long time. So this card looks pretty good to me. I'm excited about WrestleMania. I'm hoping that most people are excited about it as well. And, let me know what you guys think about those matches. What are you most excited about? What changes would you make to that card? Is that the card that you think is going to happen? If not, let me know. So, yeah, that's about it. I appreciate you guys hanging with me this morning. Or for me, it's afternoon for me. What the hell am I talking about? Like, subscribe, and share as always. Make sure you're checking out Tommy C, Shot from the Point, Joe Cronin Show, at the Joe Cronin Show on YouTube, and also Spectrum Gaming 617. His Pokemon Pulse channel is back up. He's doing stuff there. YuckyGamer.com is back up. Make sure if you need Pokemon cards or collectibles, that's the place to go for that. Jeff Huffman is doing great things over on Grand Slam 87. Make sure you continue to look at his stuff. Graham Hull is doing crazy things over on his channel. I think that's just his name. He doesn't have a channel name yet. Devious Dave Rose, he's got the Dark Show. Make sure you're checking him out, giving him some love. Tommy NC 2010, Tommy Talks, he's doing great things as well. Make sure you're checking all these guys out and give them a little bit of love and affection. But as for me, I'm about done. The voice is starting to damper a bit. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, today's Daily Focus, and we will see you right here next time. Peace.